What's up guys, how's it going? So in this video I'm going to be breaking down a formation out of the Packers playbook. The formation I chose was the wing offset weak formation. I was looking through the playbook. I haven't really looked at it much this year, and this formation definitely caught my eye. It's got some really nice plays in it. I'm not sure if it's popular or not. I haven't really seen it online, but there's probably a lot of stuff that I haven't seen yet online. So it looks like a really nice formation though, so it wouldn't surprise me if it was popular and I just didn't know it, but I'm going to go ahead and break it down anyway for you guys. I try to stay away from the more popular formations so that I kind of can get something unique out there, but this formation is really nice, and so I decided to go ahead and do it. So first things first, alignment wise, you want your biggest receiver out far to the left, so in this case it's Jordy Nelson. On the right side, I try to put my speed receiver all the way to the right, so in this case that would be Randall Cobb. In the slot you want whoever your third best receiver is, in this case Devontae Adams. And you've got your tight end in the backfield and your running back. So go ahead and start things off. The play I like to come out in is the counter Y, and I'll tell you guys why in a minute. So it's basic standard shotgun counter. Shotgun counters are really good, especially this one. You not only get one lead blocker from your pulling guard, but you get a second lead blocker from your tight end coming across the formation. So right here, obviously, you would not want to run it because there is 5 people on the left side of the line of scrimmage, or the left side of the center. And so, obviously, I would go ahead and check down to the inside zone in this case, which is the down run audible, and I'll just go ahead and get into why I come out in the counter. And that's pretty much the main reason, is because you have the counter to the left, so if it's there, you can go ahead and run it. If it's not there, you can go ahead and check down to the inside zone split, run up the middle, go to the outside with it. You got a lot of options, so it gives you kind of a three-headed rushing attack with only 2 plays, with the counter to the left and then the inside zone split up the middle or to the right. And then the other plays, the other quick audibles, you've got your quick pass is curls, which is a nice kind of short yardage passing play. The halfback route, Lacey's route, gets to the flat really quick, so if you think they won't be guarding that, you can run this. You've got the vertical tight end cross, which is a very nice play. I'll run that later. Pretty much, it's not even 4 verticals, it's 3 verticals with an angle route out the backfield. So unique play. And then PA zone, which is another play I really like. I'll run that later. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and run the inside zone, try to get up the middle. And it's just a very quick hitting play. You get really nice blocking. And it's something that you can establish early on, and your opponent has to react to it and has to try to stop it. Because if they don't try to stop it, you can just run this all the way down the field all day long on them, especially with a good running back like Eddie Lacy if you have a workhorse. A lot of people, what they'll do is start pinching their line, and that pretty much plays right into the other plays in the formation. When they start pinching their line, you can run the counter. They have a halfback power O, which is kind of similar to the inside zone split, except for it's you can get to the outside much easier with it. It's kind of a more risky run to run, but if they do start pinching their line, it allows you a lot more room to the outside. So I'll try to run the counter for you guys here. Kind of got stuffed up right there. Really, you want to start running the counter once you establish the inside zone and they pinch their line or bring people to the middle. That's when you want to hit them with the counter. Otherwise, it can get kind of foggy. You do have a lot of blockers out there, so it can get tough at times. Right there was against goal line, so it's not too hard to get to the outside against goal line. Right here is a nice time to run the counter. I accidentally motioned Corliss over. But as you can see, there's only 3 people to the left of the center. So right here, I would try to pop it. As you can see, I did a bad spin move, but I was able to get 10 yards. And that's pretty much what you want from that run play. So that's pretty much the bread and butter run game right there, the counter and the inside zone. So then the passing plays, curls is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to run that. The first passing play I'll go over is this vertical tight end cross. And pretty much I leave everything the same. You can put Lacey on a blue route out the backfield. If your opponent's been blitzing a lot, I would just leave him blocking, just so you have that for sure blocker, because sometimes blue routes can act weird out the backfield. Sometimes they won't block anybody and they'll just instantly release. And it's like, well, you kind of get screwed over because you thought they were going to block. But if your opponent's playing a lot of normal defenses, I would go ahead and put Lacey on a blue route out the backfield. And so in this case, pretty much you just want to read I always read the seam route first to Davante Adams. If it's open, go ahead and quick throw it. If not, you want to look down to Andrew Corliss coming across the middle of the field. You want to look to the left. You're one-on-one with your big receiver. If you have one-on-one with someone like Jordy and you're confident, you can go ahead and throw that. And then your final read is going to be Eddie Lacy out the backfield. Randall Cobb, I don't really look at him very much unless it's like one-on-one press coverage, and I feel like Cobb can get behind the defender, whoever's on him. Then you can go ahead and throw a lob streak if he does beat his man. But in this case, I probably wouldn't even look at him because it looks like it's like quarter 3 deep or something. So I'll go ahead and run this for you guys. And right there, I was looking for Corliss. That was actually probably the worst defense I could possibly run that play against because they had coverage over the top, so I couldn't throw any of the vertical routes, and then Corliss did not get any separation on his man. So I really had nobody to throw to right there. I probably should have just scrambled. In an actual game, I probably would have scrambled, but I was trying to make a read. So just run it again. Right there. Try to quick throw it to Corliss, but he kind of got hit and dropped it. He doesn't have the best catch in traffic. Try to run this again. Right there, I saw the one-on-one with Jordy, and Jordy dropped it. So that's a catch 9 out of 10 times he'll generally make. I'll try to run it one more time for you guys. And that was against man-to-man again, and that's what usually happens. Usually your tight end's able to get separation because he cuts really quickly off that angle route. If he doesn't get separation against man-to-man, you're kind of in trouble unless they don't have safety help, and then you can try to take a one-on-one matchup on the outside. Or sometimes against man-to-man, if you have your running back on a blue route, like Lacy is right now, the man guarding him will blitz, and so when Lacy releases, if he does in time before you get sacked, he'll be wide open, so you can dump it off to him. But a lot of times against man-to-man, just look for Corliss, and if Corliss isn't open, Playmaker is one of your best friends. And if you don't know how to Playmaker, it's you hold down left trigger, and it'll take control of pretty much the closest receiver to you, and you can flick the right analog stick in whatever direction you want him to run in. So just a tip for you guys if you didn't know how to do that. The play action pass, the PA zone, is a great play off of the inside zone split. Looks the same, except for it's obviously a passing play. The one adjustment I make is I put Nelson on a fade route. And so you've got double flat routes. You've got Corliss in the left flat. You've got Lacy in the right. You have a shallow cross by Davante Adams. And then you've got a deep cross by Randall Cobb. And then you've got, obviously, the fade by Jordy for one-on-one coverage. And pretty much you just kind of make reads. I always read Davante Adams first. If he's open, throw it. Then I'll look at Corliss. I'll look at the one-on-one if I have one-on-one with Nelson. And then finally, my last reads, I'll pretty much look back across the field. If Lacy's open in the flat, you can throw it to him, and then Cobb coming across the middle. But you want to get the ball to Davante Adams pretty much. And right there, I kind of panicked and tried to check it down to Lacy and overthrew him. Try to run that again for you guys. They're in goal line here, but still holds. Man-to-man, a lot of times Davante Adams will beat his man on that shallow crossing route. So that's where you want to go with the ball more times than not. Right there, I had Davante, but it got batted down at the line of scrimmage. Right there. Just saw that they were running some type of big zone blitz, and I saw nobody was in the flat, so I knew Corliss would be open. Right there, they got some pressure on me. If they're getting pressure on you like that, sometimes you might have to go ahead and cancel the play action and just block Lacy so that you don't get hit before you throw, especially if they pass commit, because you won't even get through the play action animation before you're sacked. So that's just something to kind of keep in mind. Right there, I tried to throw it to Randall Cobb, and Aaron Rodgers made an awful throw. Let's see. I need to get this pass for you guys. Okay, right there, Davante Adams. So you guys pretty much get the idea. Just look for Adams. If Adams isn't open, you want to look for the flat route to Corliss, the one-on-one on the outside, and then Cobb coming across the middle as your final read. Right there. That's what usually happens. Against man-to-man, a lot of times Cobb will get that inside positioning, and you can throw that as well, especially if they start jumping down on that slot shallow crossing route, and they start using that, you can hit them behind them with that deeper cross by Randall Cobb. And a lot of times, if they don't have a safety back there, it can lead to a huge play if it's just one-on-one. So that's that for the quick audibles and the counter. The other plays out of the formation I like to mix in are the power O. As I kind of went over it a little bit earlier, but if your opponent's pinching their line and really trying to stop that inside zone, this is a play that you can use to really get to the outside of the defense and punish them for pinching their line. Otherwise, it's kind of lackluster, as you saw in that situation. I would definitely run the inside zone over it pretty much all the time unless they pinch their line. Right there. You kind of do have the option of whether you want to take it straight up the middle or you can kind of try to get to the outside. A lot of times if you try to go to the outside, your blockers won't really get out there quick enough, and so it can get kind of foggy. And you can start bumping into your own linemen. So just be careful with what hole you pick to run through, but it's a pretty safe running option if your opponent is respecting the other run plays. I would definitely establish the inside zone and counter first, and then come to that like later in the game. They might not be expecting it, something like that. Other plays, you've got the draw. I'm not a big fan of draws this year. I would just stick with the inside zone counter power O trilogy of runs. And you've got the halfback slip screen, which slip screens are great this year, as you guys probably know. Pretty self-explanatory. It's not hard to run a slip screen, but they are really effective. And then the last page of plays, you've got the flanker screen, which is pretty much one of the reasons why I was drawn to this formation. I love formations that have screens on both sides of the field. So, and this one's no different. You've got the slip screen to the left, and then you've got the wide receiver screen to the right. You really want to run the wide receiver screen when they're playing off coverage. When they're playing press coverage, a lot of times that corner can get behind the blockers and try to make a play on the ball, and you don't want that. So in this case, I would go ahead and run it, and hopefully you get a good reaction, or a good result. Right there, they got a nice block. Shadeberry Church was able to break the block of Devontae Adams. Right there, that's pretty much what you're looking for right there. If they can get the seal to the inside and you can take it up the sideline, that's when I've had the most success with wide receiver screens. Right here, I'll go ahead and run it. They're in press coverage. It probably won't work, but I'll just go ahead and run it anyway just to show you guys why it doesn't really work in press coverage. And as you can see, I'll go ahead and run that back in instant replay. I think that was some type of, I think it was like 2-man under right there. Yeah, that's what it looks like, 2-man under. And as you guys can see, at the snap of the ball, he really gets up into that blocker's face, and he's already like right by Randall Cobb. So all he has to do once Cobb catches the ball is just break off his block, and he's right there, and there's really no getting away from it. And if you threw that, you just lost like 7 yards. So just be careful about when you run that play. It's very opportunistic. It's very situational, but if your opponent's playing a lot of press coverage, don't feel like you need to force this play into the scheme. It's a very reactionary play. You run it based off what your opponent's showing you at the line of scrimmage. So in this case, that would be a good time to run it. Try to get to the outside right there. Orlando Scandrick had a nice block shed, but hope you guys get the idea there. And then the final play out of this formation that I would like to go over is the read option, which obviously with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers is kind of mobile. He's got like 80 speed, I think. Obviously, if you're going to mix this play in, you'd kind of like someone better suited for carrying the ball. So if you're using someone like the Panthers or the Seahawks or the Niners, or if you're using the Chiefs with Terrell Pryor now, or the Ravens with Tyrod Taylor, or anybody like that, just a more mobile quarterback who's better suited to carry the ball. Like, you really don't want Aaron Rodgers carrying the ball on read options. So I would literally probably never call this if I was actually using the Packers in a game. But if you are using a team with a mobile quarterback, this is a nice mix-up play, especially if you establish the inside zone first. It looks pretty much the same if they start respecting that inside run and bringing guys to the middle, and a lot of times they'll bring their user up to the middle, and it can suck them in. If you can break it to the outside and get a nice block by your receiver out there, you can get some huge gains. So right there, I was able to get hawked down, even though it kind of looked good. Sterling Moore made a nice play. I guess that's Aaron Rodgers not being the most athletic guy. And right there, just go ahead and get down. And that's pretty much what you're going to get when you run it with someone like Aaron Rodgers, especially if there's a safety on that side. You can't really expect yourself to make anybody miss right there, I was able to get to the outside and pick up some nice yardage. So you guys get the idea. It's just a mix-up play, very complementary to the inside zone. Wouldn't run it unless I had already like established the inside zone and my opponent was clearly respecting the inside zone. So that's pretty much it for this formation, guys. It's probably about 7 or 8 plays. I hope this was able to help you guys out. Maybe if you use the Packers playbook, you can add this in. If you're using a custom and you don't have this formation, or if you've never seen this formation before, you can look into it, lab it up in practice mode, see how you like it, maybe add it into your custom if you like it. And until next time, guys, the next video will be on the Houston Texans playbook. I'll be breaking down a formation out of that playbook. Houston's a pretty nice playbook from years past. It kind of fell off, so I'm pretty excited to look into it and see what it has now. Also, I just wanted to say, I know I don't have many subscribers, but if anybody has any suggestions for videos that I could do, if you have a question about like a formation, or if you want me to take a look at a certain playbook or a certain formation in a playbook and do a breakdown on it, I'd be more than happy to. That's what I love doing with this game, is pretty much just browsing all the different playbooks, all the different formations, because there's so much stuff you can do. And also give me some tips on what kind of videos you guys would like to see. I know I put out these offensive tip videos. I can also do like ranked gameplays. I don't really play MUT too much, but I'm trying to get into it. So if there's a lot of people who would like to see MUT, I can go ahead and try to do MUT. If you'd like some defensive tips, I can put out some defensive tips. Although I am more inclined to practice the offensive side of the ball. It's just what I enjoy more. But I can definitely do defensive tips if you guys want some. So yeah, just leave a comment if you don't mind, and telling me kind of what you guys would like to see. So until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.